Hello, friends. I am Chevee. Welcome to my shed. How are you today? How's life in your world? How's things where you are? I hope it's all fantastic and wonderful. I don't have anything to talk about today, so I decided to tell a story because when I did the t-shirt episode, I promised, I mentioned that I might do another fashion-related episode talking about one of my quirks. And so that's what we're going to do today. And this is embarrassing. Like it's embarrassing. It's going to illustrate like I guess a prejudice that I've carried with me my entire life, and I'm not proud of that. But it is what it is, and I want to talk about it. And that is, besides t-shirts, these things, something else has only very, very recently entered into my normal wear. And that is, hooded shirts, hooded sweatshirts. This is one thing, but in reality, what I'm really talking about is sweats, like sweatpants. I have on a pair of sweatpants right now, as well as hooded sweatshirts, zippered hoodies, this kind of thing. I have never, ever, ever worn hoodies. I've never worn sweats, and there's a reason, and the reason is, admittedly, embarrassing. I don't feel good about what I'm about to say. But growing up, I had a cousin, and my cousin had muscular dystrophy. When I was a kid, he was always in a wheelchair. I never knew him outside of the wheelchair. By the time came around, he was, permanently in the wheelchair. And he died, I believe, when I was 7 or 8. I'm not positive on the date range, but his body finally gave in. So for those first 8 years of my life, and for many, many years after, I went to my aunt's house after school, and so I spent time with him every day. But on top of that, my mom and my aunt volunteered for the Muscular Dystrophy Association, like I think they were called Jerry's Kids, and so I spent a lot of time around disabled people. The school that he went to was a special school for disabled children of all sorts, and both physically and mentally disabled people. And I honestly think that my apprehension towards sweatpants and sweatshirts stems from that experience. Again, I'm not proud of this, but in my head, growing up, sweats were something that disabled people wore. It was something that was simple to put on for a caretaker to slip on a pair of sweatpants, for a caretaker to put on a hooded shirt or a sweatshirt. That was something that was, in my mind, that's what disabled people wore. And I carried that with me for the next 30-something years, Only recently, my girlfriend said, you should get some sweatpants, because I've always been wearing, like, men's pajama pants in the house. But men's pajama pants actually aren't long enough. Like, it's very difficult for me to find. I have a 36-inch inseam. It's very difficult for me to find 36-inch sweatpants or men's pajama pants. So they always are really tall. But sweatpants, for some reason, are cut really long. And she said, why don't you try it? And I was like, okay. And I felt that little twinge of apprehension. Like, I'm perfectly able. Why am I wearing that? And I realized it then that's where this has come from. My whole life, I haven't owned hooded sweatshirts. I don't wear pullovers because I viewed that as something that not necessarily beneath me. I don't necessarily think that I felt that way. I didn't feel like I was better than sweatpants or whatever. I just felt like that was something that only people who couldn't properly dress themselves would wear. And like I said, before t-shirts, I wore dress shirts. I wore dress shirts every day. I was always very well dressed. So to wear, this type of hooded sweatshirt was kind of like, you can't put this over a dress shirt. That doesn't work, right? So, when she talked me into buying them, I was really apprehensive, and I wore them, and I've been wearing them since, and they're comfy and they're fine. And her parents bought me this hooded jacket, this blue hooded jacket. This is like, when I saw this, that is when it really rung a bell in my head of the reason that I've been avoiding this is because this color blue, this like standard issue sweatpants shirt style clothing is the thing that I've been avoiding my whole life, is the thing that I identified as that's something that I would only wear if I couldn't properly dress myself. And the reality is, I freaking love this jacket. I wear it constantly. When I'm in the house, I have on a little light hooded shirt because we keep it pretty cold in here. But if I go out, 100% I'm grabbing this. And it's been super comfy, super warm. It's a wonderful little, light jacket. And I don't know why I didn't try something like this earlier in my life. I mean, I guess I do now. I guess the realization is that I had assigned some sort of, I don't know, I had assigned it an image that it actually doesn't have. Like, it's not something that you look at and go, well, that person is disabled. I don't even think that way. Like, maybe I did when I was a kid. Maybe that I thought that way, when I was a child. But I definitely don't think that way now. So why did I avoid it for so long? I don't know. I guess embarrassment, at this whole subject. So that's my little quirky fashion admittance story. Again, I feel ashamed, and I should have tried it earlier because it's pretty much some of the most comfortable clothing I've ever worn. I think that's news to nobody except me. There you have it. Feel free to let me know what you think about that in the comments. Thank you for being here as always. Thank you for liking, commenting, subscribing, being amazing friends and wonderful people. I really appreciate you. And I'll see you again tomorrow. Today's word you should know to sound smart is extol. It is a verb meaning to praise with great enthusiasm. Iris has not ceased to extol the virtues of her new Romaine Jerome day and night watch. Romanian? Where did I get that at? The virtues of her new Romaine Jerome day and night watch. I guess that's a watch brand. Romaine Jerome day and night watch. I don't know. I didn't extol that very well.